Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two Canadian blended whiskeys, not neither of which is too prominent, I don't think. Well, okay, I'll explain it. This is WD Liquors Premium Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. The company Winn-Dixie was established in 1955. This is bottled in Kentucky by Wide World Importers for Winn-Dixie. Okay, it's exclusive, like they say on the bottle. It's only sold at Winn-Dixie stores, now owned by Aldi. Aldi bought Winn-Dixie this year, 2024. Okay, so things may change. So it's a decent looking label. Doesn't look like they ever changed it since I was a kid. This has been around at least 50 years. Well, yeah, something like that, because I remember this Winn-Dixie brand liquor on the table at people's parties. I mean, I wasn't drinking it when I was 8 or 18 or even 28 or even 38, but I just bought it this year. But you know what I mean? I remember seeing it around. All right, and they make a whole line of liquor, like the whole, except for brandy, no brandy that I could see, but the whole lineup: rum, gin, vodka, different types of vodka, bourbon even. Okay, so natural flavors, they'll let you know on the label that they add natural flavors. They're not required to do that, but they're doing it. So that's nice of them. No age statement. It's at least 3 years old, probably not a day longer than 3. Here's the competitor, McAdams, introduced in 1987. I did see some older labels. They did change the label over the years, but not big change. But there's the they're emphasizing Canada, as you would imagine. It'll focus. Canadian whiskey. I'm trying to show the little emblem there. Look like it's trying to focus. Yeah, it did it. Canadian premium. It's got the crown for King Charles III, King of Canada. Of course, when I bought this bottle, it was Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada. There's the maple leaf, the symbol of the country, 2 lions holding up the shield. And there's some banner, but I don't think it has anything written on it. If it does, it's too small. Imported McAdams, blended Canadian whiskey, mellowed in aged oak, meaning not new oak. It's not new oak barrels, probably used bourbon barrels. We can't say for sure, but it's used barrels. That's what it sounds better to say, aged oak than used oak. Okay, product of Canada, distilled and blended under supervision of the Canadian government, which is a meaningless statement because all Canadian whiskey is distilled and blended under the supervision of the Canadian government. So they put some of the statements they put on these bottles are redundant. I mean, it's Canadian whiskey, so ipso facto it's made in Canada. It goes without saying. Age 36 months. Okay, so it's a 3-year age minimum. So to tell me it's aged in oak is meaningless because all Canadian whiskey is aged in oak. There isn't one that isn't. It wouldn't be whiskey. And you don't need to tell me it's under the government supervision because all Canadian whiskey is under the government supervision. But let's see what they say about it. Every drop of this fine whiskey, now it says premium, they're all premium. Everything's premium. That means it's the best. Is made in the old world tradition of quality first. We age our premium whiskey in the finest oak barrel. See, this was $7.99 for a liter. Can you imagine that? $7.99 for 1 liter. Liter, that's cheap. Burley Sullivan says, you. I would say you to you, Burley. Barrels. This is truly one of Canada's smoothest whiskeys. This is their claim, not mine. Bottled in Princeton, Maryland, by Prestige Beverage Group, and they own all kind of brands. They own Scotch brands. They own Irish whiskey brands. They own Oh, beer brands, maybe wine. I can't remember. Oh, there's some dust. Let me go clean that off. I thought I had it clean. Um, so imagine that $7.99 a total wine and more for this liter. I don't think they're carrying it anymore at my location, but Total Wine tends to change up their selection quite often. But they're using the finest oak barrels available, according to the bottle. Even Crown Royal can't get better barrels if you use that logic. Okay, well, I'm telling you, if you read these liquor labels, everything is the best. I don't know how everything could be the best. There's nothing is the worst or even substandard. You never read a liquor bottle or beer bottle that says it's tolerable. No. The worst beer out there will say premium. It's like it's just amazing. And with the Camo line, Camo is amazing. I had that 10 years ago. It's been 10 years since I had that. I would buy it again, see if it's changed. I doubt it. It is amazing. Amazingly bad. Now, it's incredible. Now, this one, they should say it tastes weird. They ought to say that on the label. This one tastes strange. But then, to be fair, most of Sazerac's Canadian whiskeys taste strange. Honestly. You say, except Rich and Rare Reserve, and the Canadian Peak was, standard flavor. Then you might be saying, what do you mean, Sazerac? You said Wide World Importers. Yeah, well, Wide World Importers is part of Sazerac. Seem like they trying to buy everybody. So the WD is darker. I'm keeping the lamps off because it's dawn busters, right? So we got to see the sunlight come into play. It's gaining daylight every minute. It's pale straw. I guess I'd call this straw gold. This one is amber, kind of a honey color. Do they have coloring at it? They don't say they do. They don't have to say it, but they don't appear to have coloring at it. Good morning from Paris, Jay. Good morning to you, Phil. Jeff. Wyrick says top shelf. Yeah, top shelf. All right. Drewski Brewski says cheers, Ronaldo. Cheers to you, Drewski Brewski. Okay. I'll just clean these glasses. Clean them again. Okay, now I got to close my eyes. Oh, wait, let's do the screen share. I'll show you what the websites look like. It ain't much to see. Believe me, don't get excited. Here's WD. Only at Winn-Dixie. Well, that's true. That's why it's exclusive. It should be because it's only made for Winn-Dixie stores. So if you don't live where you can find a Winn-Dixie, you can't get it. It won't ship it. In-store only. It's an in-store product. But then who in the world in their right would order this? I can see being curious about a product, but enough's enough. When you start ordering private label brands, you might need your head checked. Okay, so I would assume, and that would be a good assumption, that it's made at the Sazerac Montreal, the old Montreal distillery. That's the only Canadian distillery they've got. Makes sense, right? You're making Canadian whiskey, you sell it, you got your own brands, you got contract produced brands for certain stores like Albertsons and Walmart and Winn-Dixie. You may as well make it instead of paying somebody to make it. They're all about the same. If you go to Walmart and get their store brand Canadian beer, well, I guess Caliber is a Walmart brand because the trademark says it's owned by Walmart Apollo. That's the official name, Walmart Apollo. But I did buy 2 bottles at Rouse's, which has nothing to do with Walmart. But it could have been an overflow thing where I started thinking about it. Maybe Walmart said, look, we only want this much. So any flow, you could sell it to other stores, and it may be a small kickback to them. Like we have to get this percentage, but then the store will take it because they're still getting it super cheap. You know what I paid at Rouse's for those bottles? $5 now for a handle. Yes, that is cheapest I've ever paid for whiskey in my life. One of the pharmacy chains used to have a line called Grand Legacy. That got dumped. They discontinued that. I know that because they don't sell it any of them anymore. So I've been seeing Grand Legacy at Star liquor store in Louisiana, Star, because they probably unloaded it to them. The distributor probably came along and said, look, they dumping it. You want it? Yeah, that price, what price? Okay, we'll take it. I mean, I got a handle for $8.99. Gave it to my friend David, and he gave it back to me. He said, I don't like this stuff. I said, fair enough. Okay. Here's McAdams, not a store brand, not a private label. You can buy it at, well, whatever store you can find it at. I found it at Total Wine. Aged, oh, well, there's your answer. Aged in ex-bourbon barrels. Said, I was guessing that, but that's actually the truth. Okay. That's a handle bottle they're showing there. It's plastic, but I bought the glass because that's all I saw. Smooth whiskey notes and mixes well with cola. Where there's your emphasis. Mixes well with cola. And then there's a light version. It's not even a true whiskey. It's 27%. So legally, it would not be called a whiskey. It would be called a distilled spirit specialty. I mean, no one else is going to call it that. They're just going to call it a light whiskey. You get it? But legally, on paper, it's a distilled spirit specialty. I don't know why somebody would want to buy a light whiskey, but there's a market for it. And I have seen other brands of light whiskey. So, yeah, I really have seen that. I have never bought it, except one time on accident. But that one was 35 proof, still too low to be whiskey. All right. She's native, but not. There's a woman that wants to meet you. Yeah. Okay, Drewski Brewski, let's get back to the topic and cut the funnies. All right. This calendar is sagging right there. Let me tape it up. I hate when it doesn't look nice. Okay. All right. There's a cathedral in Spain somewhere. I think this. Oh, Puebla, Mexico. Whoa. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Okay. My church is going to My church, our pastor, is organizing a trip to Mexico this year, Mexico City, to the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. I'm sure that's very nice to see. I'd love to see it, but I'm not paying $2,900. Nah. All inclusive, I guess, but still, I don't want to eat all that food. I mean, they go down there to eat so much. Be eating. Tour groups. I don't know. I don't mind it, but tell you the truth, when I went to Africa and Europe last year, I went alone, and there was a couple of people I wish could have come with me, but they couldn't make it. But and besides that point, they weren't interested in. But it didn't cost me anywhere close to $2,900. In fact, I wrote it down. How much did it cost me? Now, I got a good deal on the airfare. I'm not going to say American Airlines. Thank you. Well, American Airlines and British Airways, they collaborate. You know, like, well, you know what I mean. They'll sell one ticket, but they'll route it onto their airline or on the other's airline. So I took American Airline to England, and then it was British Airways for the rest of the time. But it was all one ticket. Okay. Yeah, $1,265.03. Kept track of their expenses. 12. It's $1,265.03. Those 2 continents, 3 different countries. England, Gibraltar, which is, well, okay, not a country, a territory, but does have its own governor, and so does Puerto Rico. Spain and Spanish Africa, if you want to count that as a separate place, but really it's part of Spain. It's just a part of Spain that's in Africa. Okay, it's not a territory of Spain, it's a part of Spain, kind of like French Guiana is in South America, but it's part of France. If you've ever, you say, well, I've never been to Paris, but I went to French Guiana once, then you've been to France. But the South Africa part, South America part of France, my uncle went there once. Cayenne. I wonder if he ate some cayenne pepper. I'm not trolling. I'm not interested in this. What are you talking about? Okay. I would like to go there. I was watching some video somebody made on YouTube about walking around in French Guiana and Cayenne. It looked kind of plain, you know. Didn't look like too spectacular, but I've never been to South America. Okay, been to Central America. Okay. Nice. Nice, but Herbie says captain. I don't know what that means, but yes, captain. That's a nice word. Nice 2-syllable word. Okay. My nose. Something in the air. It just doesn't. It's like I have a cold, but I think it's allergies. My eyes are watering. But I never did get a sore throat or anything. I just think something in the air. It is springtime. Those crepe myrtle trees full of flowers. Could be something like that. Oh, Captain America. Yes. I have some Captain America comic books. I could show you one right now if you'd like to see it. Okay. It's hanging on the wall. Aroma. There's a difference, but I'm not sure which is which. Like this one here smells like it might have the flavoring, but yeah, I can't go on that. I just got to go on the flavor. So taste. Cheers. Let's see how that calculates out. 13. This must be the flavor one. $13.99 divided by $17.50 times 1,000. Exactly the same price, $7.99. So the price I paid per ounce was identical. So price won't matter. Only flavor. This tastes like a flavored Canadian whiskey. Get that little bit of that almond extract, as John Anile calls it, pecan oil, or vanilla, which I think is the likely candidate of the flavor. But it said flavors, plural, more than one. So maybe it's walnut oil, probably like walnut extract, something they buy at a flavoring company, from a flavoring company, and vanilla. Another thing, vanilla extract. But they're not getting the little thing you buy at the grocery store, you know, the little, what is it, 1.5 ounce canister glass. It's probably a huge thing. And maybe for this one, they say, put in this many units of vanilla. And then the manager's saying, I'll tell you what, put double that, because this stuff, put double. They won't notice. And that's what we want them to notice, the vanilla, not the underground, the under flavor of the real whiskey. I don't know. It may not be that bad. All right, this just tastes like oak. Yes, it literally does taste like ex-bourbon barrels, okay? Meaning woody, a woodiness, a grain feature, cereal grain, mostly corn. Is there a little rye spice? Well, it might be, but it's a little. I mean, I think it's got more over here. So yeah, it's smooth because maybe it's a little dull, you see. So there's nothing to bite back. There is no bite. Does that make sense that they're emphasizing mixing it with cola. Yeah, because I doubt too many people are buying it and drinking it straight or neat at room temperature like I'm doing. And it's good at room temperature. I think Crown Royal is better. I don't think Crown Royal is $20 better though, or $17 better. No, I'd save my money. I would just save my money and buy this. Now, would this be a good substitute for Crown Royal? No, no, because it's too flavoring ish, and you don't get that with Crown Royal. Now, Crown Royal may have flavoring, but it's very subtle in the sense that you can't taste it. Okay, not directly at least. Now, of course, they have flavored Crown Royal. I'm not talking about those. I'm not the standard Crown Royal. I'm not talking about their blackberry, which I still can't find. I'm not desperate to find it, but everybody's gaga over it. I mean, I would buy it. It was only $23.99. And I waited. I said, I'll just get it next week. I was gone in one day, all across the country. There's the famous Crown Royal apple. There's the peach. And, oh, I don't know. There's so many flavors. It's unreal. But I'm not into that, so I don't buy them. You know, I'm not against it. I'm just not into it. I rather the regular whiskey flavor. But a guy I work with, he only buys the apple, and only at Christmas. Puts it in the freezer, and he'll take a shot every day till it's gone. I don't like that idea because you're not really tasting it. You're just shooting it back. I don't go for that, but whatever you want to do, it's up to you. It's your money. I do like the oakiness here. That's the lead flavor, and that's what they're emphasizing, and that's what works. So that they're emphasizing oak. The oak flavor's there. It takes the lead. It makes sense. It's a good product. So what I recommend, and it wins. So not really a very good challenge. This is the winner, clear and present winner, McAdams. And I got it. Okay, so I just remembered something. I forgot to bring in Grand Legacy into this challenge, and I have a bottle, and it's from Sazerac. I'll have to double back, make a U-turn, and go back to Grand Legacy, and then go back to the other brands. This would be a good opportunity to do it, because I don't want to start bringing in Crown Royal products and then go into Grand Legacy, another store brand, you know, from Legacy Distilling, of course. I knew I was forgetting something. I kept thinking, like, are you forgetting something? And I was. Okay, but that's no big deal, but it is irritating. But all right. Decent enough, but it'll never win any awards because it'll never be placed into competition by any means. But yeah, there's nothing more lower shelf than this. But actually, it's not on the bottom shelf. If you go to Winn-Dixie, they got their own rack, really. Kind of their own. Well, it is on the bottom shelf of the Canadian section. But they have their own rack for the Winn-Dixie brands, a separate rack. And stuff sells like crazy. I mean, it really sells like crazy. All right, but the winner is McAdams. And so there you go. One last look. You win. And I have, good amount left. Going to be many, many, many taste challenges to come. All right, thanks and goodbye, and y'all have a very nice Tuesday.